Disclaimer: I am in no way trying to defend the horrible actions done by certain men. What I'm trying to do is to show the opposite perspective of gender issues. Gillette's short film showcased realistic actions done to women by men. It is my personal belief that I must discuss actions done to men by women by using the same highlighted issues from Gillette's video. If this is a commercial targeted towards men, a specific group of men to make them change their ways, most men aren't like this in the video, and the ones that are not going to change based off a razor commercial. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm glad I didn't scare you away yet. So today I'll be doing a response video to the new Gillette commercial. But I do want to preface this by saying that I am mixed on this issue because I agree with a lot of what they're saying in the video just in general. However, I don't really think that video was necessary, and I definitely don't think companies, especially a shaving company, should dive into these type of, like, whether it's political issues or SJW type of propaganda. I just think that it's unnecessary and it's very annoying. I don't like when companies, when they try to force it onto their consumers, their customers. This video, it came out on January 13th, so a few days ago, earlier this week, and it has already had 9 million views, and at the time of me writing this it had about 545,000 dislikes and then 200,000 likes at the moment. The reason why I'm just like confused why they did this is because it's a shaving commercial. It's a shaving commercial. It has nothing to do with the type of propaganda, and also it's men's shaving stuff, so they're pretty much alienating and offending their consumer base, which is mostly male, and it's just very confusing why they would do that. Let's get into the video. I'm rewatching the video. Okay, so the very first thing that is said in the video is bullying. The reason why bullying just doesn't fit with the other stuff, because the other stuff in the video, sexual misconduct related, and bullying is, first of all, a universal phenomenon between both genders. Females and males both bully each other. I just didn't understand this part because most people understand that bullying is not okay, and what I'm really not okay with is how this commercial makes it seem like bullying is directly a male characteristic trait, if that makes sense, because it's not. Women bully each other, they bully men. Also in the video, they were children. First of all, they weren't men. Children are mean and they bully each other, so it's, if you're making a commercial about men, very insulting. Like, I just can't even put into words. Usually when it comes to bullying, men are more physically aggressive than women. Women, we use our words. We get catty, petty. We cut each other down with words instead of physically being violent, but that doesn't mean that's any better than being violent with someone physically. If we're going to talk about men bullying each other, we should talk about women bullying each other. Bullying is less of like a prevalent issue when it comes to physical contact. Now it's more of a cyber issue with the internet and social media. So it does say that girls are more likely to get bullied. Girls also experience sexual bullying more than boys. For example, girls are more likely to have rumors spread about sexual activity regardless of the validity of the claim, and they are more likely to be on the receiving end of sexual messages or harassments from boys. I am curious to know why they didn't put that part in. That would have been more fitting in the short film if they talked about the sexual bullying that some boys do towards girls, their classmates, which it does happen. The next thing that came up was the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement is a movement against sexual harassment and sexual assault. Okay, nothing wrong with that. The hashtag spread virally in October 2017. Tarana Brute. If I say your name wrong, I'm really sorry. An American social activist and community organizer began using the phrase Me Too as early as 2006, and the phrase was later popularized by American actress Alyssa Milano on Twitter in 2017. Milano encouraged victims of sexual harassment to tweet about it and give people a sense of the magnitude of the problem. all of this sounds good and dandy. Like, there's nothing wrong with having victims talk about what has happened to them, and there's nothing wrong with them trying to get justice for the wrong deeds that someone did to them. First of all, when it comes to Hollywood stars, no, I don't think that women should have to sleep with the directors or other people to get a part. That's just totally wrong. But the thing is, I have known about this casting couch thing, and a lot of other people have known about it way before these allegations against like Harvey Weinstein. It's sad because there's people who love acting have to do that, but it's hard for me to feel sympathy for somebody who is making money, who did the whole casting couch thing, because it is a cash transaction. If someone's willing to give you a part and you're willing to sleep with them, that's a cash transaction and you're consenting to that. Should that be the case? No, I don't like that, but that's the case. And I don't like when people later on say, and they might have been raped or sexually assaulted. We don't know. We weren't there. And you can't just believe everything that people say in the media either. I don't like it when people say later, years later, that this happened to them, or they didn't consent, or they were raped or assaulted when it was a cash transaction. Now, if it's actually that case, then I will be appalled. Like, I don't like that. I will stand up for you, sister. Okay? That leads me to my second point, is that I don't think that we as a society should just blindly believe women. Because if you think about it, you can't trust everybody, and you can't even trust the people that you know and that are your friends and family. For me, I don't trust strangers because they haven't built up their credibility with me. They haven't built up my trust. Why should we as a society just believe women who make these claims without evidence? Rape is not worse than murder. Murder is probably the worst crime that could be committed to somebody, or that could happen to somebody. Rape is probably the second worst. So if we have to have investigations for murder cases or murder claims or allegations, then we should have investigations for people who are being who claim rape. Now, I know they do that, but the only thing is that when there is an accusation of somebody like raping someone or misconduct, it's reported like in the news and everything, and then everyone in society jumps on this hate bandwagon, and it destroys that person's life, their credibility, their integrity, their image. They're basically defamed, if that's the word, and that's something that you can't really reverse, even if the truth is out there that this person is innocent of these claims. So I feel like we as a society shouldn't automatically jump on the side of the woman. I don't agree with the phrase believe all women. There's women that lie. It's a dangerous path to go on because people lie. Men lie as well. People lie to get ahead. They lie for power. They lie for money. If they know there's something in it for them, they will lie. And it's wrong, but they do it. And that's why you can't just believe people without a thorough investigation, without facts. My heart does go out to those women who do face all of this abuse and stuff, because that is horrible. I do believe in justice for women that do actually face this, and it pains me when I read or hear stories about women who admit that they lied about the rape. It makes me not want to believe the other women that claim these cases. It's unfair for the person being accused to face the public scrutiny when we don't know if it's true or not. We don't know if these women are trying to blackmail an ex, or they're trying to get power or money or fame out of it. We gotta be careful with that. This whole movement kind of has created a fear in men around women, like they don't want to be with women alone. It's because they're afraid of losing everything that they love, or everything that they have, their job, their future, other stuff. So it's just scary that women can, with a snap of their finger, have that power around men, and they're out of a job. The genders are already divided, and we don't need to be divided anymore because we're stronger together, and when we try to learn to understand each other, that's what we should be moving towards. Coming off of that, the hashtag #HimToo movement was kind of a meme on Twitter, and it's a movement against false rape allegations, so a reaction to the Me Too movement, and it's is a hashtag that was spread virally in October 2018, so literally like a year after the Me Too movement. when a mother tweeted about how her son was afraid to date women on solo dates because of the current climate of false rape allegations. And then I was seeing this article from HuffPost. It's an opinion piece by Doyen Richards. And he says the hashtag #HimToo is the hashtag all lives matter of sexual assault. And honestly, that pretty much summed up his article within the title. I think that the hashtag #HimToo movement is valid because even though a lot of rape cases might not be fake or false reports, there are still men that do get accused, and that should be noted. The Me Too movement was a serious and important thing for women and men. I think the hashtag #HimToo movement should have been too. It just kind of showed to me that when these memes came out, that shows that society doesn't care about the issues that men face. Now we've moved from a male-centered society to a female-centered society, and I thought the whole point of feminism was equality, and it's kind of like unbalanced now. It's a story from the New York Times, and it's a story about a man. So it was about a man who was jailed because of a rape allegation. Investigators had no physical evidence. Semen was removed from the woman did not match the two accused men. The prosecution's case relied heavily on her testimony, which was inconsistent. Exhibit A of what I've been saying. He spent 26 years in prison, which is very sad. It makes me think to myself, what if that was my dad, or what if that was my boyfriend, or what if that was my grandfather? The men in your life, if they had to go through that, how would that make you feel? If some woman was accusing a man that's important to your life of some being totally inaccurate and false, and they had to spend years and years in jail, and they had to build their reputation that might not ever be fixed. Sexual harassment, characterized by the making of unwelcome and inappropriate sexual advances in a workplace or other professions or social situations. The problem I see with sexual harassment, like claims and people getting punished for that, is that people can take sexual harassment differently. And what I mean by that is some people, if you touch your coworker on the head or on the shoulder, they might think it's okay and appropriate, but other people might freeze up. They don't like that, and that's totally okay. I don't think that we should, sorry, my sister's singing in the background. I don't think that we should touch each other without consent. And the coworker could be touching them in an innocent way, but that coworker can feel like their boundaries were disrespected, and that's a totally valid feeling. So it's very hard to judge. The issue is catcalling. So it's unfortunate that some men still do this, and there's videos of women walking in New York and there's catcallers, and it's disgusting.
Wow. That's not good.
Wow.
What's up, beautiful? Have a good day. Hey, what's up, girl? How you doing? Somebody's acknowledging you for being beautiful. She said thank you.
Oh, bless you.
Hey, baby. Hey, beautiful. How are you this morning?
They shouldn't do it because it's unwanted and inappropriate. But I don't think catcalling should be as big of an issue as people make it out to be.
Smile, sweetie. Come on.
To say the right thing, to act the right way.
Bro, not cool, not cool.
Some
I have been catcalled. Sometimes I felt uncomfortable by it. Other times it was just compliments like, hey, you're beautiful, or, whatever. If someone compliments you like, hey, you're beautiful, take it as a compliment. You're beautiful. If you don't like people telling you you're beautiful, okay, that's fine. But other people aren't going to know that. Women should not face these issues because of their choice of clothing. But you should be aware of what type of men that you will attract. Because the douchebags, the tool bags, they will come running. Let's go on to toxic masculinity. So I couldn't actually find a definition for toxic masculinity on the internet from like a dictionary, but I'm just going to use Urban Dictionary, so bear with me. So, a healthy trait native to and suitable for men that turns poisonous when feminist women seek to destroy men by draining it from them, using it to replace their own femininity. Second definition I found is any male action that doesn't conform to liberal ideas of what a man should be in today's society. If he is insensitive and emotional and docile, he is accused of toxic masculinity. But it's kind of like toxic masculinity is supposed to be like traits that are masculine that aren't healthy to society or to like relationships and stuff like that. I'm not gonna say it doesn't exist, because there are guys that are toxic, but I don't think generally most guys are toxic or exhibit toxic masculinity traits. And I would argue that there is a bunch of toxic female traits at the moment. The problem I see with this is when we raise young boys and we tell them that being masculine or holding very masculine traits is wrong or it's bad and you shouldn't do it, then you're raising them like they're females in a way, and that's not good, I guess. And not saying that people have to have like gender specific or guidelines, because there's always going to be men who have very feminine characteristics about them, even though they identify as male, they're straight males. And there's always going to be women that are more masculine, but it's okay to be a man and it's okay to be a female. It's okay to express gender stereotype of being a guy or being a girl, as long as you are a respectful person to other people. I like expressing being female. Like when I was younger, I was like a tomboy, but now I'm just like kind of girly girl. So that's okay. And I don't think that we should always be telling our young boys, because it's like, imagine telling girls it's wrong to express feelings of like you want to look pretty for yourself or for other people, or wear a cute dress, or be quiet, or telling them what they can or cannot do, or you have to be in this career field. I think that it's okay to express those traits that are associated with each gender, but let the individual choose how much to a degree they want to express that. They were chanting, boys will be boys.
But something finally changed.
Which is a phrase that is used a lot. Going off the toxic masculinity, this is tricky. So we shouldn't just let boys be boys in the sense that they are exhibiting bad traits, then you should stop them because they're a child and they don't know better. But just because a boy is like rumble and tumble, like messing around, like the video showed, that doesn't mean that that's a bad thing, because boys are more aggressive with each other. They like to play, they like to do outdoors things. There's nothing wrong with that, and I don't know why people have a problem with that. If the boys will be boys statement, it just really depends on what you're talking about, what issue you're talking about. Like, for example, in school, boys are very restless when they're younger in elementary school, because the school environment caters more to girls. That's one reason why girls do better in school than guys. Mansplaining.
What I actually think she's trying to say.
Which was shown in the video with the coworkers when the woman was sitting down and she was looking like this, because the guy was speaking for her, like when he's saying, I think this is what she means, which is annoying. I face that, but I face that from both women and men. And let me tell you, regardless of gender, I hate when people do that. Like, if I'm saying something, let me say it in my own way, okay? So, mansplaining, the definition is the explanation of something by a man, typically to a woman, in a manner regarded as condescending or patronizing. So, or men do this. Women do this a lot. Like the women in my life, like, they'll tell me a whole dissertation, or they tell me like everything like I should know, or what I should do, or this and that, their advice. So women are just as guilty as this as men. I think men are more guilty of this in the sense of like professional fields, like a career or job, but at the surface, at home, I think women are very guilty of this themselves. This isn't really an issue, but it's just like a very annoying thing that guys can do. So if you do this, you should like watch yourself, because you might really trigger somebody or offend somebody. Like, guys really do face a disadvantage in society, especially in the workplace, because the workplace wants to diversify, which I don't have a problem with diversity, but I do have a problem when you pick someone because of a diversity quota versus them actually being qualified for the job.
Women can actually fail the physical component of the fireman test and still become a firewoman to meet female quotas. Firewomen are paid exactly the same as firemen, who are more physically able and better suited to the job. This is wrong, and a very substantial pay gap should exist in the fire service, and also other services.
So, these are my closing words. I think we should hold men accountable for their actions, but I think all of us should hold each other to be accountable for our actions, men and women. And one thing interesting I did not see in this video is like abuse, like physical abuse, which I would think that they would put in there if this is the best a man can be or something. Portrays that all men are like this, and then I think most people understand that bullying, sexual harassment, rape are all wrong, and if you don't think it's wrong, then it's wrong. Okay. Time for the unpopular word. Okay. Don't I look cute? I'm getting like these neck wrinkles. Take this lightly. I don't think that the modern man should have to change, but the direction of modern feminism needs to change. This video is a byproduct of toxic femininity trying to make men not men and like women, which I don't like, okay? All this talk about men showing them in a bad light really offends a person like me because I have amazing men in my life. My father, my boyfriend, my grandfather before he passed away. If you're a woman and a guy treats you poorly, or like any of the men in this video, what are you doing in that relationship? I understand if it's like a father or like an uncle or something, but get out of that relationship. You have yourself to blame if you stay in it and you realize what's happening to you. Just stand up for yourself, and there's better guys out there. There's still good guys. And just remember, the problem isn't toxic masculinity, it's the lack of masculinity. That's what I have to say in this video. I hope you don't have to like change your whole mindset, but I hope you've thought about this, and I hope that we as a society and a world can grow closer together and accept our differences and respect them. And there's nothing wrong with being different, and I just want love, peace for us to come together. So we can always agree to disagree. So bye y'all.